Hi there, just read this disclaimer please.
So it's the 1st of May and we have the new Fundsmith fact sheet, which the first thing to go through in the fact sheet is the top 10 order. First thing we notice is Novo Nordisk is now ahead of Microsoft. So looking at my sheet here, which I've duplicated and added a couple of columns to, we can see that obviously I've got them the other way around at the moment, so we'll need to adjust that to make it match the order. And the other big difference is that Meta is 3rd in the fund and I have it down here in 10th.
And this is where we stop from what I recorded yesterday. You'll notice there that the Meta share price is 365, which if anyone's familiar, you'll realise is pretty much about 15% lower than it should have been. And that's because I realised today that back then I found this in the spreadsheet. Whoops. It was like that. And I'm pretty sure it was like that because on Friday night, after hours, after the US markets closed, there was a 15% roughly drop in the share price. So I was messing around with my spreadsheet just seeing what it would be like, because obviously this spreadsheet doesn't show the after hours prices. I ended up doing all of the US trades on the 1st, and then I realised that all the European markets, the German, the Spanish and the French market, were all closed because it's a Labour Day bank holiday yesterday, which I didn't realise until I got to the app and started trying to do stuff. So I made all those changes. The only changes needed were to make Meta the 3rd highest and swap Microsoft and Novo Nordisk. Everything else was in order, so there was no changes needed. And then the other change was that they added a holding in Texas Instruments right there, and it's a small holding. Okay, so after I did all the US transactions, this was what I had left to do with all the European ones, and then the proceeds for the European sales here and here, 91 of those were to go into Meta. But given the error that's still in this spreadsheet here, see the Meta price is there 369, which is 15% too low. When I undid that error, Meta was already 3rd, so it had already overtaken L'Oreal to where it should be at about 5%. So if we look at the portfolio today, having not bought any more Meta, we're already just a little bit past L'Oreal. So that 91 quid extra to go in Meta, I'm not doing. I'm just leaving it how it is. I mean, the other thing I was supposed to do was to sell 32 of LVMH. I haven't bothered doing that either, just because it was making things too complicated. Because, I mean, what it's done is it's demoted Visa, because I sold some of it yesterday. But the thing is, it's so close. Look at the percentage holding there. It's so close that it's not a big deal if I just leave them two in the wrong order. On the 1st of June, I can correct that. It's just not worth faffing around with it anymore. But anyway, yeah, I've learned how to sort all this out each month. I've added a couple of those 2 columns that were in that old spreadsheet there. I've incorporated into the main one here. I kind of colour coded them to show that they're not really in play. They're not actual. They're just kind of planning tools, really. So if I say here minus 10 quid, it gives me what the new percentage would be. So, and also in this cell up here, it tells me that I'm not back to 0. So I always need to be at 0 in that cell P2. And it shows me the effect of my changes in pounds here. So I mean, I won't be making major changes. Obviously, it's just getting the top 10 in roughly the right order. So obviously I'll do that once a month. You'll notice that I think I'm already, I did get Novo Nordisk to be the top holding, but obviously the share prices have changed since then, and Microsoft is already at the top. So yeah, like I say, we never quite know when we see that Fundsmith has Novo Nordisk as a top holding. We don't know how much of a gap there is, do we? So in the actual fund, for all we know, Novo Nordisk could still be the top holding, and it probably is. I just make the changes in the moment on the first. I did it yesterday, and this data is probably from the 30th of April. So I kind of got the order correct on the 1st of May, and it's probably already wrong. But I'll just keep making small changes, to make it roughly right. It doesn't have to be perfect. And as you can see lower down here, I've got my 1% into Texas Instruments. I did actually do this -9 here for Amadeus that I said I was going to do, but obviously the rest of it I didn't do. But that -9 was added to the Texas Instruments to make it a 1.09% holding. It was a little bit lower yesterday, but then today I've put it in there. So that's the portfolio. Not much else to report really. So these two columns get hidden away until the 1st of June, where they get revealed again and get used to work out what changes I need to make. I'm not quite sure. This applies for Apple as well. He's declared these small holdings, that's why I've got them as 1%. But at some point, is he going to tell us when he makes them a full holding? Not so sure. So I might have to make my own judgment of if and when to make those full holdings. That's the trickiness of not quite knowing what the actual fund is doing and just kind of going my own way with it. And just for the record, I'll show you all of the transactions. So obviously those ones for today, and then all the ones yesterday. You can pause if you like, and I don't know why anyone would really need to see it, but it just shows that they were made. I decided I couldn't be bothered waiting for the German market to open, and I made the full change. So I'm a little bit higher on the US Novo Nordisk listing there, because I couldn't be bothered waiting for the German market to open yesterday. So yep, so there's all of the transactions. That's about it really. I guess I'll see you next time. Bye bye.